In 1981, Raiders of the Lost Ark defined the standard for 20th century action cinema. It was a bright, kinetic adventure that took audiences on a globe-trotting race through 1936 Egypt. The stakes were grounded in history, pitting Indiana Jones against European Axis forces in a desperate search for a biblical artifact, all while maintaining a classical Hollywood romance with Marion Ravenwood. For the 1935 prequel, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, the creative team deliberately moved away from that formula. They replaced the expansive desert locations and clear political antagonists with a claustrophobic horror adventure aesthetic. The sunny pulp sensibilities of the first film were discarded. The production traded light adventure for a relentless assault of macabre art direction and terrifying practical effects that pushed physical violence to its limits. This focus on extreme gore and dark imagery broke the existing Hollywood rating system. It directly led the Motion Picture Association of America to create a new category to warn parents, the PG-13 rating. The film begins by establishing a civilized baseline. 1930 Shanghai offers a world of polished metropolitan architecture and high society comfort. Inside Club Obi-Wan, Dr. Jones acts as a mercenary. Wearing a crisp white tuxedo, he trades the cremated remains of an ancient emperor to a triad mob boss in exchange for a rare diamond. Nightclub singer Willie Scott is the face of this superficial environment. She begins the story as a starlet defined by a glamorous gown from Paris. The film attacks this status immediately. A poison-laced brawl erupts, and Willie's designer dress is riddled with bullet holes before she can even leave the club. They escape onto a cargo plane, only for the pilots to bail out over the Himalayas. Surviving the crash requires leaping from the aircraft in a yellow life raft and sliding down the jagged, desolate mountain peaks. The physical destruction of their clothing acts as a visual metaphor. It signals that their elite status offers zero protection against the environment they are entering. The mountains dump them into the blistering heat of northern India. The rustic, dusty architecture of Mayapur highlights a village suffering from drought and the abduction of its children. When the trio travels to Pankot Palace, the art direction turns deliberately repulsive. The palace presents an exterior of wealth, but hide a grotesque interior designed to shock the heroes. The welcoming feast uses physical props to create disgust. Serving eyeball soup and chilled monkey brains forces the audience to share in the characters' visceral reaction. Once they find the secret door in Willie's room, the palace architecture transforms into an active antagonist. The dark, claustrophobic secret tunnels are rigged with lethal traps. Indy and Short Round are trapped in a room with descending ceiling spikes. To save them, Willie is forced to reach her hand into a crawl space overflowing with thousands of swarming insects. This oppressive set design strips away the characters' superficiality. To survive these physical trials, they are forced to adapt to a world that ignores their previous social status. Deep beneath the palace, the trio reaches the subterranean Thuggee Temple. This cavern represents the absolute geographic and aesthetic bottom of the story. High Priest Mola Ram presides over a revived cult worshipping the goddess Kali. In a display of extreme practical effects, he reaches into a victim's chest and extracts a beating heart bare-handed. The temple utilizes visuals of molten lava and child slaves to emphasize the stakes. These children are chained and whipped while they mine for the remaining sacred stones. Mola Ram captures the heroes and forces Indy to drink the blood of Kali. The potion induces a voodoo trance, visually manifesting Indy's darkest mercenary traits as he prepares to sacrifice Willie to the lava pit. Fire is flipped from a tool of sacrifice into a tool for salvation. Short Round breaks his chains and uses a burning torch to snap Indy out of mind control. Reaching this horrific extreme is what forces Indy to change. He abandons his search for personal profit and embraces the role of a selfless savior for the village children. By the time the trio returns to Mayapur, they have been stripped of their initial pretenses. Willie has survived a lava pit and a room of insects, while Indy has chosen the restoration of a village over his own fortune and glory. In 1984, the American movie rating system had a massive gap. The categories were simply PG or R. The combination of child labor and gore proved too intense for PG, but wasn't restricted enough for R. This specific conflict created the PG-13 rating. Indy invokes an incantation, causing the glowing Sankara stones to burn Mola Ram's hand, sending him falling into the crocodile-infested river below. Temple of Doom's descent into horror served a narrative purpose. By forcing the characters to face visceral threats, the story moved Indy beyond his selfish interests and established a new middle ground for